All right, so super excited for this episode. I am absolutely loving these coaching podcasts. If you guys are loving it, I'd love for you to let me know. You can send a DM to me at Heidi Stevens or shoot an email to hello@heidistevens.co. We love hearing from you and we want to know what you're liking and what you want more of. So if you like these coaching and hearing real women in the real world, what they're going through, what they're feeling challenged by, and my guidance and support, let us know. And we're going to continue doing more of these community coaching hot seat calls. Today, there is a theme around business. So a few of the kind of themes of this call and what you'll hear is this idea of feeling overwhelmed around social media and oh my gosh, who I'm sure most of you listening to this, if you are on social media, you know that feeling. I'm a big fan of only doing what you can and always, always, always protecting your energy. I share in this call some very tangible tips about how you can monitor, how you can use different apps, how you can outsource to lessen the amount of time that you have on social media, and also why it is so important to really raise your frequency and raise your energy and tap into source energy so that you have more energy to give and more to overflow and therefore more to serve with, whether it's social media or otherwise. We also hear from a woman named Erin who is so brave and bold and has a brand new business that she's starting, and she's bumping up against some fear around putting her products out there and really moving herself forward to having that exchange with money. I give her a loving kick in the pants. And, she said this was just what I needed to hear. Maybe it is just what you need to hear as well. We also hear from a former client of mine and a woman that is active in my community, how she has just fully surrendered. And she is just loving life, and it's really helped her manifest more of what she wants in her business and life. I riff on it a little bit about this idea of surrender and letting a part of ourselves die off and what it really means to surrender and why everybody doesn't do it. Okay. And then lastly, we talk about really just how to keep things moving forward in your life. Like the reality is that so many of us are moms and wives and business owners and community builders, and we're wearing so many hats and we can't balance it all at once. When you are dreaming big and when you are going for a life that you desire, the reality is that stuff is going to come up. Stuff meaning unhealed, unresolved, life happens, challenge happens. You are not alone. We all go through it. And I give some coaching and real world tips on how to handle that in today's podcast. You guys enjoy. I know you're going to love it. And I want to hear from you. So if you would like to have an opportunity to also be on the podcast, you can go to heidistevens.co/podcast. You can sign up there and you'll be the first to know the next time we do one of these community chats so that you can get some free hot coaching from me. Hi friends, it's Heidi Stevens here. Welcome to Drop Into the Vortex, where conversations about up-leveling your frequency, reaching your next level, feeling alive, and manifesting with more ease are happening. I'm a mom, I'm a wife, I'm a serial entrepreneur, I am a spiritual teacher and leader, and I am here juggling all the hats right along with you, creating our next level life and showing you how to do it on the way. Welcome, let's go. Brandy, your hand was raised first and foremost. Welcome here. And what is your question today, or what is your share?
Hi, thank you. I feel like I've have this vision of this, like writing this book with my husband, and have kind of taken steps towards that with looking at book proposals, and then kind of understanding like you might have to create an online space because it takes a while, whatever. This like getting a following. And as I kind of like have talked to some of my friends and people that I value their opinion, one of my friends told me to start like an Instagram. And as I did that, it was like something inside of me. I've been a high school counselor for 18 years. And so I've always kept my professional life separate from my personal life. And there's a real vulnerability of being really open and kind of sharing, like taking your hat off and sharing some stuff, some junk about you in the effort and hope, which the effort and hope is to impact people, give them inspiration and just the feeling that they can overcome. Like that, the title of the book that we're going with right now is Rise Phoenix. And so it feels really like very clear. And then I'll have like some, like all of a sudden it stopped me in my tracks for my anxiety because one of my colleagues started following me and I hadn't even opened it to anybody. Like I just didn't open, I have my own separate page. And then on top of that, it's like at the same time, my son's dealing with a lot with mental health. And then my cat ran away. So it's like, what in the world? So I just feel really like and I have a meeting with someone tomorrow who wrote their own book. So like, as I take steps forward to like pursue what I think is following this path, I'll have these like setbacks. So.
Yeah. Oh, I just like my heart goes out to you. I feel your sweetness and your sincerity. And I also really hear your desires. And I applaud you for being so brave, showing up here, raising your hand and wanting support. And I'm hearing several layers in your share. The first is look, my loves, it takes bravery. It takes bravery and courage to share our dreams and desires and to start talking about them. It takes bravery to even be willing to say them to ourselves, to give ourselves permission to say, hey, this is something that I want, and then let alone share it with our partners and potential colleagues and peers and friends. So you have taken that step. Whenever we start even having the inkling or the desire to go to our next level, any and all things that are between the vibration, the frequency that we are now and where we want to go are going to start bubbling up to be healed. If you've been following me for any amount of time, you know that I take a two-pronged approach. It's not that you have to go and heal every single thing here before you start. It's that starting, and it's that taking action, and it's that dreaming, and it's that visioning that is allowing this stuff to come forward. So your job, Brandy, is to do the both and this is a dance and it's delicate and there's no perfect science to this. But it's taking action steps in the direction of your dreams at the same time, healing the layers and these quote unquote stuff. That's the technical term for unhealed, unresolved issues that are bubbling up in the interim.
Okay.
So what I caution you is don't like buy into this mindset of like, I've got to have 100,000 followers before I write my book, or I've got to start this humongous platform before I write my book. Start writing.
Yeah.
Social media, Facebook, Instagram, like you name it, start a blog. Like any platform is an opportunity to start writing, to start sharing. You know, how many people have said to me, Heidi, all you could do is like take your Instagram post and like you have a book, right? This idea of like writing a book, it's super overwhelming. P.S. You don't make any money doing it, even if you have X number of followers. I'm not an expert writing books. I haven't gotten a book deal. I've had a number of people tell me I could have, not in my dreams at this moment, at this exact moment. Your job, Brandy, is to start writing, is to keep taking action, to keep doing what you're doing. And as this stuff comes up, I highly encourage you, it's not a roadblock. They're just opportunities to overcome, to come more home into alignment, to shift how we view like those, like feels like a challenge. Okay, how could I use this for my behalf, on my behalf, right here and now?
Yeah, it's like I'm trying to stay like high and excited and on top of it, and then I get like yanked back down.
There you go. And that's life, right? And there are tools and there are strategies and there are things that you can do daily. And I'll just give you a couple right now, simple ones. It's like move your body, start a meditation practice, get into breath work, get some natural vitamin D, get out in the sun, right? It's like every time, get your feet into nature. Every time, they sound so simple, but every time we do just one of those things, it allows us to breathe deeper, to go from our head to our bellies, like just to drop it a little bit deeper and come home, to come more into alignment. All right, Brandy, we're going to go on to the next person, but I hope and trust that that was helpful. We are going to go to T. T, hello.
Hi, thank you. I have found myself being very drained by social media.
Yes.
And I know it's one thing to consume content, but it's another thing to serve with content. And with my business, I need to serve using it.
Yeah.
And it's a challenge because as an introvert, I in my mind, I put out so much to engage, but it just exhausts me at the end of it, where I don't want to post anything.
Yeah.
So that's my challenge.
I so appreciate that. While I don't identify necessarily as an introvert, I am very, very, very sensitive. And obviously I work with a lot of women that are. A couple of real tangible tips that I would offer, and just see if these resonate, feel supportive. First and foremost, I would not engage in other people's stuff. I would simply, there are seasons, there are weeks where I only go on social media to post my stuff. When you get to a certain place in your business, you can also have somebody else, you can also outsource that, right? You can also have somebody else post on your behalf. There is an app, I believe it's called Threads. If someone could confirm that, that'd be awesome. But I believe it's called Threads. And yeah, it allows you to see your DMs and interact, but without having to actually be on the scroll. You can also do that through the Facebook business account. You can see Facebook business DMs and Instagram DMs. And like when we're in launch mode and there's just a ton of stuff going on, I will only go into that app because I just can't, like, I know that I have zero capacity or energy to be distracted by anything else on social media. Unless I can only speak from myself and my kind of level of visibility. I don't like, there's never so much like DMs and one that I feel so overwhelmed by it. I can imagine that you may like, it's like, you can chunk it down. You could check your DMs or your comments twice a day and respond to those just like you would an email, right? Get in your email, respond to DMs, and then you don't need to be feeling like you need to check it all day long. Also on iPhones, there's that app where it shows you how much time you're spending on, where it shows you how much time you're spending on Instagram, right? It's like, it's going to just tell you. I mean, there you go. So I would get out of thinking like the whole game of like, oh, I've got to go like all these people's and interact and engage. I don't know about all that. I've never done too much of that at all to grow my business to where I am. I really haven't. I haven't done a ton of outsourcing. There have been times where there were times where I did like a unlike, follow, unfollow thing. I don't not really my style. At this point, we do have somebody on the team. I have a social media meeting once a week. We go through and we look at what is the content. She goes in there and does post on a daily basis, but all the stuff on Instagram or on stories, I'm posting myself. So I'm going in there in stories, I'm posting, I answer my own DMs. My team is not doing that on my behalf unless we're in massive launch mode. And there are times where I'm quieter, like just needing to cocoon. Maybe I don't get back to somebody. That's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Does that help, T? Yeah. Okay. It can be exhausting, and you just got to kind of flip. Like, it's like, I said this yesterday to somebody, it really has the capacity to be a community building tool, which is so incredible. And you have to also just manage your energy and watch yourself and know yourself. Everyone is going to be different. And I will just say this, I'll end with this. The more that you are working on managing your own energy and honoring your own rhythms and increasing your frequency, people will say to me, how do you have so much energy? How do you have so much like vitality to do this stuff? It's because I've got source energy running through me. Like, this isn't just human Heidi. This is like human Heidi tapped in, turned on, right? And it's like, I have more to give. I have more to connect because I am doing things like taking care of myself, exercising, drinking tons of water, meditating, blah, blah, blah. All right, you guys get it. Do you want to continue raising your frequency right along with me? Be sure to subscribe to this YouTube channel and make sure to click the notification bell below to be notified when I have a new video. Now let's get back to the show. Jess, let's hear from you. Oh my gosh, hi. I'm so happy to see you. And I'm also just going to ask you to get to the heart of the matter today. How are you, my love?
You got it. I just want to share. And this is all so familiar and wonderful. And Heidi, you're amazing. I just want to share where I am in my life now in terms of trusting flow and trusting the moment and trusting myself. You know, well, I, for years, struggled with, rather than celebrating any achievements, it was just always about what's next. And that led to some fear and resistance. And I need to be doing this and should. But I have grown and practiced through all the things that you talk about, such a place of meeting myself where I am as opposed to where I think I should be or I'm supposed to be. Mm-hmm. And that has led me to only say yes to the things that I'm aligned with and bring me joy. And those things aren't landing pages and Facebook ads and things that were robbing me of my joy. And yeah, I do outsourcing, and I'm lucky and fortunate and blessed to have gotten to a place to be able to do that in my life and achieved a lot. And I'm now so much more able to let go of that external need. Oh, but my audience has to be, my platforms have to be, and do the things that fill me and are aligned. So it's been saying no to the things that rob me of my joy without fear and FOMO and comparison and resistance that I had for a long time and through practice, of course. And being able to meet myself where I am in order to, as is a goal I know, or I mean, a quality I know you share, to live a heart-centered life and to move from my heart space in order to then serve others at my best. And when that started to happen, the expansion started to happen and the release started to happen. Oh my God, is it magnetic? And do the things come in that I really want to be doing and saying yes to, and the guest teaching at retreats and speaking on this and writing. It's unbelievable how that trust leads. And I was so scared of it for so long. And again, I know you saw me in some of those places. So I just wanted to share that all the work, all the practicing, all the things really do accumulatively open us up and are worth it and are worth sitting in the dark and going through the pain and moving through the mud. It's really so worth it.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for that share. And, you know, I will, I'll kind of riff on that for just a second. You know, so often when we're just on the cusp, and this is like a meme and it's cliche, but it really is true. Like when we're on the cusp of that next level of surrender, which doesn't really end. It really doesn't end. You think like, oh, once I get here, then I'm going to have mastered X, Y, or Z. Well, it's just the next layer. It's just the next level. And my experience is that the more I use tools and exercise my spiritual muscles, the easier that letting go gets. So it's not that I don't have to do it. It's just that I'm so much stronger now. I've gone to the gym. I've done my workouts. And so it comes with more ease. There's still that feeling of fear and oh my gosh, like, am I actually going to jump off this cliff and trust? And the answer is yes. And the reason why it feels like there's a part of you that's going to die when you do it is because there is. There is actually a part of you that has to die off in order to create space for the new part of you to come through. And if it were that easy, everybody would be doing it. So the fact that you all showed up, I don't care that this is a free call. The fact that you showed up today means that there is some part of you that is going, oh gosh, here we go. Here we go on this next level journey. And man, it is scary AF. And thank God I'm like getting myself into a community to go there, to practice this. So it does become easier. There was something else that I wanted to riff on that you said. I don't remember it now. Aaron Scott, we're going to go to you. I think you might just be on phone today, perhaps.
Oh, I'm here.
Oh, hi. Hello. How are you? And welcome.
Good, thank you. I've been dancing around building a business for about the past year. I also work like a full-time day job. And I've like created some projects and things, like some digital products and things, and I'm totally terrified to put them out into the world, either for feedback or for just nothing. And I don't know how to move past that.
What do you want to do?
Well, I'm really big on dogs, and I've created some I've had a lot of dogs with health issues, and I've created some products for pet parents it's kind of, I call it like a dog health journal, where you can kind of track your dog's like daily medication and food, and if they're eating the way they should or pooping the way that they should, or are they getting up and playing, are they following their routines, and then products like it's all sort of centered around dog health right now for pet parents.
Okay, awesome. Very cool. And what's the fear?
I don't know. I guess it's like, will anybody really pay for that? Or,
And what will it mean if someone doesn't pay for it?
I don't know. I guess like, what does that say about me as a person, or, that worth, or I've poured so much of myself into it that it makes me feel really vulnerable to put it out there.
So the reason why I suggest that you start to just like throw things out in the world, right, without a ton of attachment to them at the beginning, is because when we put our heart and soul and years and whatever it is, right, into something, there is so much pent up pressure on said thing. You can literally paralyze yourself from taking any action. Okay. Which is what you're experiencing right now.
Yeah.
So, here you are, really passionate about something, created something, and the only way that you are going to get started is by putting something out into the world. And let's really drill down what I mean when I say out in the world, because it feels like, oh my gosh, the world is going to see this. Well, my guess is that you don't probably have a gazillion followers following you right now for them to see it. Is that accurate?
Yes, I do have a podcast that is about dogs, but it's not like specific to dogs and health. But and I can put that out with no problem, right? But then I've created this other thing that I get very hung up about.
And why is that easy for you? Is that because it's free?
That's definitely part of it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So, well, if it's part of it, and what else? What are the other reasons why you can put out a podcast, but you can't put out a product?
I I guess I feel like if somebody doesn't like the podcast, they just don't listen and go do something else. And yeah, I guess it's around if somebody pays for this and is then like disappointed or is like, this was a waste or, something like that.
So let's actually explore that. What would you do if someone pays for it and they come back to you a week later and they say this is a waste? What would you do?
Cry?
Well, from a business perspective, you'd probably give them their money back, right?
Right.
You'd give them their money back, which from a financial perspective, you're in no different of a space than you are today, if that were to happen.
Right.
Okay. Then you'd have some other layers of this person didn't like my product, this person didn't like my product, this person didn't like, XYZ. So what's really going on here?
I guess I just always struggle around the whole like good enough issue.
Mm-hmm.
And also this is such a deviation from it's such a new thing to me. I work as a paralegal, and
Mm-hmm.
and have for 20 years. And so just sort of by definition, right, like my job is to kind of not make any decisions on my own and do what other people need me to do. And so this is
Our dogs are barking in the background. I love it. How
anyway, this is like all on me, and that's kind of scary.
So Erin, I hear you. I appreciate your vulnerability, and I also am curious, how will it ever be good enough? Like, what's the marker that you're waiting for? Like, at what point would you say, okay, like, check?
There's a couple people who I know who are, a big deal in the dog world, if you want to put it that way. And I've, talked with them and sent them some different like beta versions, and I've primarily gotten good feedback. And so I feel like that means I should pull the trigger. But then I just sort of find myself constantly procrastinating around like, because I need to have some kind of website and delivery method, and trying to figure all this out. And I realize like I'm just being very procrastinating because I'm scared of what this will all look like.
Yeah. So this is why people hire a coach, right? This is why people hire a coach. And for you specifically, I'd encourage you to find a one-on-one business coach to work with, or one-on-one accountability coach or something to that nature, because you need someone to help you break down all of these things that you're making up in your mind of why, all the reasons why you can't do this. Erin, I mean, everything that you're telling me right now, and you know this, like there's no good reason why you're doing this, right? You have people that are giving you feedback. It sounds like you do have an audience. And I wish I could, say something magical right now to support you in taking that next step. It's called rip off the Band-Aid.
Okay, honestly, like sometimes I think I just need to hear that.
Yeah. Like, go do it. Whatever you're afraid of, you're going to have no way of knowing if that's true or not unless you actually put yourself out there. Right. And try it. And whatever feedback you do get, whatever it is, if 10 people buy it, if 0 people buy it, if 100 people buy it, it's feedback. it doesn't mean that the product is wrong or bad, or it is feedback. If 0 people purchase it, you can look at, how did I sell it? What was the marketing that I used? Did I talk about it once and then go, oh, not one person bought it. I talked about it once. No, persistence. This is called grit. This is called believing in what you're doing more than the fear. Like, we've got to get messy, guys, and you've got to believe in what you're doing more than the worry and the fear of what everyone is going to think. And that takes a level of like, man, I believe myself. When I first started, I was so scared to put myself out there and talk and go live that I created a private Facebook group. And I like only let certain people come in because I was so afraid to just like go live on Facebook. And I had this idea, like I had these like my husband's friends, my dad's friends. It was these like kind of like successful men that I just had this idea that they were going to judge me and think certain things about me. And so I really, I kind of sheltered myself and only said things that I was scared to say in this private Facebook group. And it's funny to think about now because I just like I put it all out there. There's some things that I will only tell my like inner circle, next level clients, but for the most part, I'm an open book. Point being, Erin, is that you have to just put something out there, and then whatever feedback comes in, you go, this is feedback. This is not saying that I'm bad or wrong or not successful. I know it's hard to not take it personally, but it's the only way, you guys, to conduct business and to do our thing. And you're already doing it. You're already putting yourself out there on the podcast. That takes balls. That takes courage. So many of people are afraid to do that. So I could go into this whole thing with you about money mindset and, layering it. I've got whole modules on that. I've got a wealth reset program for $47 you can go into and take. There's all that mindset stuff. But what you're saying to me right now, go take action. And then when you get feedback, come back and then you can like rework it. Okay?
That's very helpful. And I needed to hear that. So thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome.